Hello, I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. Welcome to Community Matters. Today we're talking about the 2020 census and the importance of being counted. Joining me now is Laura McCletty, North Carolina State Coordinator for the 2020 census, and Bernadine Anthony, who is with the North Carolina Faith-Based Representative for the 2020 census as well. And to both of you, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
I was going to say it's that time of year again, you know, spring and flowers, but this time it's really about the census and being counted. Can we start with a really basic question? The census, what is it for people who don't know, and why do we need it?
The census is a means to count everyone within the United States once and only once and in the right place. And it also allows us to determine how the $675 billion will be allocated. And then the way to do that is to make sure that we go into the communities and go into all of the organizations that have those grassroots ties and get the count. And another part that is really important for us is it determines the congressional seats. That's major. This is over a period of 10 years. And then finally with the redistricting, it determines that as well based upon the number of people in the counties and the states.
I mean, it is very important. How do you receive this in the mail? Is that what you normally receive? You get counted by getting something in the mail and you have to return it. And I'm assuming that a lot of people don't do that. Is that basically how the census works?
It has worked that way in years past. Mm-hmm. However, we're doing it differently this year. For this decennial, what we're doing is sending out invitations for individuals to go in online. Of course, the census begins with geography and it ends with geography. So we have the addresses of all of the people in the United States that are living in wherever they are living as effective April 1st. We have those addresses that have already been determined by the geography departments in all of the cities, states, and towns across the United States. And we are sending invitations for them to go in online to fill out the forms this time. They can go in online on their telephone or on their tablets to fill out the information. And there'll be several ways in which they can respond to the census this time. But this is different. And it's starting today, as a matter of fact. People will be getting those invitations to go in online. If they don't fill out the information online, we will remind them, because we'll get a daily update as to whether or not people are filling out these forms. And once we get the information, we know who's not sending them in, is filling out the information, so we'll send them another reminder. But we'll try to notify them at least 5 times. And then we will eventually send them out a form on that 5th time and ask them to fill it out. So if it's not done then, and the part that most people don't like is someone to come and knock on their door.
Right.
So after that, we've tried all of those attempts, then we will come and knock on the doors.
Wow. So this is the specialist team that you coordinate? Is that what they do?
No.
No, that's something different.
That's something different.
What is that?
We are partnership specialists. And our job is to go out and create a form or ask the community, the trusted voices in the community, to form complete count committees. We're asking those partners in our communities, the trusted voices in the community, to gather the people in their community, tell us how they react to certain things in their community. So we have to first identify those partners, those trusted voices, ask them to form the complete count committee and involve and engage the entire community. Every segment of the community should be represented on that committee. And once we get those individuals together, we ask them to allow us to train them on what they need to share with the people that are listening and trusting them as it relates to the census, because there are a lot of people that are skeptical about filling out the forms, but we want them to feel safe, and we know that those trusted voices in the community will assist us in encouraging people to understand and value the importance of the census.
Now, Bernadine, I know this is something that obviously it's important, and it doesn't sound like this is something you throw together overnight. You've been working on this for quite some time. How long, and what have you been doing?
Well, this is my second decennial, but I started in last year, actually, working, and the great thing with Laura, she started back in 2016 for this census. But this is your third one, right?
Yes, this is my third decennial.
This is my second one. And so, and when I came in, a lot of the groundwork was already done. Laura kind of carried things out, and then she got some more folks to help her. And so what I have been tasked to do, which I've been so excited about, is partnering primarily, not solely, but primarily with the churches, not only in this area, but across the state. And that's been very unique because, of course, you're working with not only the churches, but just faith-based overall. And so we know that in every house, of a sacred house, things are done differently. And so where one may get up and a pastor may preach about the census and really, as we say, tear it down. I mean, people just understand it, they get it. Others may decide to have a table and actually have one-on-one conversations with their members or with their constituents. So it helps to be able to go from church to church or faith-based to faith-based and just work with them based upon what works for their community.
So what are you running up against as far as challenges? It would seem to me that it's fairly easy to respond to the census. I get the fact that maybe some of the questions you may or may not want to answer, but what are you up against to get people? It sounds like it's quite a chore to get people to actually be counted. Why is that? And how have you overcome that?
Well, first, we know that in 2010, we undercounted our kids from 0 to 5. We also missed the people in the rural areas. So those are some of the challenges that we were facing when we got started in 2016. But what we have done is we've redirected our plans that we had in 2010, or how we did it in 2010, to make sure that we are focusing more on the kids, on the children from 0 to 5. So we have so many different programs, but the situation is that we can't get to everybody and all of the schools. We're trying to get to those areas that we had low responses in 2010. And that has been our challenge more than anything, is making sure that we have an adequate plan in place to touch the schools and the communities and the daycares and any servicing that serve any area that serves the kids. And we have the challenges was the fact that we were trying to make sure that we didn't miss that in North Carolina at all. We didn't miss the children, and we didn't miss the people in the rural areas. That was one of the main challenges that we were facing initially. And working through the process and the planning that we have in place it's benefited us thus far in terms of alleviating those challenges. Some of the other challenges that we've had have been, of course, to do with the people that are English as a second language. We've had problems with getting to those communities as well. And we have partnership specialists that have been hired that have been going into those communities, helping to create and form those complete count committees in those particular communities so they can tell us or share the information or encourage people to fill out the forms. And people don't trust the government. That's a challenge that we've held on to for a long time as well. So that's there again, emphasizing the fact the complete count committees and the trusted voices in the communities are the ones that are helping us out. They're doing a tremendous job, especially in North Carolina.
And for the viewers, and I think we're close to wrapping up this segment, but for the viewers, I know you opened up with it. When you talk about missing the kids, for instance, in the count and some of these other groups, what ultimately does that mean at the end of the day once the census is counted? So you haven't counted all the kids. There is an impact on those kids. So
schools, a lot of times when that happens, or at least from 2010, there were, it was a mass reduction, and it was a need for more schools to be built, where we didn't have a record of the number of kids in that particular location or in that particular community. And so that was an issue. Head Start, we have funding that will support that, and if we don't have the numbers, then we don't have, or we don't get the numbers, the money. So that causes the problem for us.
Well, don't go anywhere because we've got a lot more to talk about, so stay with us.